Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you're joining us, I'm glad you're here with us today. This week, we're going to have a virtual science fair. We're going to be looking at all kinds of cool science projects and exhibits, and I think we're going to have a great time. Today, I wanted to share a book with you called Inside a Science Museum. Let's look at it together. It says, what is a science museum? Science museums are very different from other kinds of museums. They are filled with exhibits. The exhibits show you how fun it can be. A science museum has 5 exhibits that use water and 12 exhibits that do not. How could you write an addition expression to find the number of exhibits in all? So it'd be 5 exhibits and 12 exhibits, or 17 exhibits total. Has these little questions down here we'll do together as we read through. When you visit a science museum, you do not just look at things, you learn about science by touching and doing. Most science museums let you push, pull, roll, bounce, balance, and splash. You can even discover what it might be like to work as an astronaut or a deep sea diver. And there's an astronaut right there. There is a lot to learn at a science museum. You might see a space station model hanging from the ceiling or a laser light show on the walls. You could balance on a high wire unicycle or touch a static electricity display to see your hair stand straight up. Many activities at science museums mix fun and science. Map on a coordinate plane. Coordinate grids make maps easier to use. The museum map on the next page is showed in a quadrant 1 of a coordinate grid. You can find the exhibits by using the X and Y coordinates. Look at the table below to see the coordinates for each exhibit. Okay, here's the map right here. And here's how it's listed right there in coordinates on the grid. And it says there's several exhibits here. Right here, it shows the main entrance. And then it shows the periodic table exhibit, the outer space exhibit, the tropical rainforest exhibit. There's some cool stuff to look at here. The world of chemistry. In the world of chemistry exhibit, you learn about chemical changes. A chemical change happens when one substance is changed into a different substance. A lit match, sour milk, and tarnished silver are all examples of chemical changes. Your senses can identify chemical changes. If you light a match, you can see the chemical change through the burning. If the milk sours, you can smell the evidence of the chemical change. And if silverware begins to tarnish, you can see the change in color. That's a match right there. Fireworks. And it says a fireworks display is an example of a chemical change. The periodic table. The periodic table of elements. It says the periodic table of elements exhibit has a huge computer showing the periodic table. Visitors can move a large mouse and click on the symbol for an element. Then a pop-up window opens with pictures and facts about that element. So here's the periodic table. And these are all the elements. And some are familiar and some are less familiar. We know we've got carbon right there. Carbon is everywhere. And hydrogen up here. Hydrogen and oxygen is what composes water. One thing you can learn from the pop-up table is that some metals like gold and iron are called pure elements. This means that these elements are not mixed with anything else. If you click the letter N on the periodic table, you would learn about nitrogen. Nitrogen has an atomic number of 7. The atomic number tells you how many protons and how many electrons are in the element. Number of protons equals number of electrons. Wow, look at this. That's just one element right there from the periodic table. And over here it says nitrogen makes up 78% of Earth's atmosphere. Near the periodic table of elements exhibit, there's a video game called Elemental Math. This is a quiz game that compares atomic numbers. To answer, you pick greater than, less than, or equal to make a true sentence. Isn't that a cool exhibit? Outer space. When you step into the outer space exhibit, you feel like an astronaut. There are stars and planets all around. There's a huge space shuttle hanging from the ceiling. Comets and asteroids appear in the background. The exhibit has a ride called the Orbiting Planes. The ride seat spins like the planets. Each seat orbits the glowing sun at the center of the ride. The seats nearest to the center move fast. The seats far from the center move slowly. The ride shows how long each planet takes to orbit the sun. And down here we have a graph telling us about how long each planet takes to orbit the sun. The first one, it says Mercury takes 88 days. The planet Venus takes 225 days. Earth takes 365 days. Exploring the deep sea. The deep sea exhibit has many activities that show what it feels like to explore Earth's oceans. There are windows that show what it looks like miles underwater. You can play with models of strange fish that live in the deep water. Look at that strange fish. There's the ocean right there. Life in a tropical rainforest. In the tropical rainforest exhibit, real trees and plants surround you. It is hot and misty inside. You can hear birds and howling monkeys in the background. There are more kinds of plants and animals in a rainforest than anywhere else on Earth. You can watch videos of some of the monkeys, snakes, birds, and big cats that live in the rainforest. Force, energy, and work. The Force, Energy, and Work exhibit is just like an indoor playground. Visitors learn how simple machines work. Each activity shows how pulleys, ramps, wheels, and levers make work easier. The exhibit teaches that force is a push or a pull on an object. Work is done when a force makes something move. The force and work connection. The amount of work depends on two things. One, the amount of force applied, and two, the distance over which force is applied. The equation for work is work, W, equals F, force, times D, distance. And here's the glossary in the back. Let's look at this real fast. It has 3 glossary terms. Element, a substance that has atoms of only one kind. Exhibit, a display used for teaching a certain topic. And force, a push or pull that causes motion. That was a great book, and it was called Inside a Science Museum. I like that. This week, we're also going to look at a few fun books. And on Thursday, we're going to be looking at knots. So if you want to get rope, grab some rope or string or anything like that so that you can tie knots along with us as we learn together. That's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, well, I wanted to read a fun book for us, and it's called Happy Go Ducky. Max was happy, too happy. He stared at the sky with a strange grin on his face. Smell the flowers, he said. Feel the breeze. What's with him? Asked Coco. Spring fever, said Bibi. Today is the first day of spring. Coco waved a paw in front of Max. He didn't blink. Will he be like this all day? Coco asked. All day, said Bibi. Coco and Bibi went inside. Irene came out. I'm leaving for the day, Max. You're in charge, okay? Okay, said Max in a dreamy voice. Irene told Max what to do. And it says, mail, plant, sweep, scrub, dishes, trash, grass, kittens. It's everything he has to do today. As soon as Irene left, Max got started. Coco looked out the window. Bibi, she said, why is Max sweeping the grass? Max dragged the hose inside. Sweep the grass, he said. Water the floor. Oh no, said Bibi. It's Irene's day away. Guess who she left in charge? Max turned on the hose. Everybody's getting wet. Ack, yelled Coco. She grabbed the hose and shut it off. Max wandered away. What do we do? Cried Bibi. We have to undo everything Max does, Coco says, starting with this mess. Meanwhile, Max was busy. Take out the dishes, he said. Put away the trash. Mail the salad and toss the letters. Plant the laundry and hang the seeds. Coco and Bibi ran around all day fixing Max's mix-ups. What's Max up to now? Asked Coco. Bibi peeked in the kitchen window. He has some potatoes, said Bibi. I think he's trying to feed the potatoes the kitten's food. Feed the potatoes, said Coco. Coco and Bibi got the giggles. They rolled around on the grass and they were laughing. Look. Suddenly, Bibi sat up. Wait a second. What was Max supposed to do to the potatoes? I don't know, said Coco. Chop them? Peel them? Then she gasped. The kittens! Coco and Bibi ran into the house. Max, stop, they yelled. Max stood in front of the sink. The kittens were inside the sink playing with soap bubbles. Scrub the kittens, said Max. Then he blinked. Scrub the kittens, he said. Max looked around. He saw the kittens covered with soap, and he saw the potatoes covered with cat food. Just then, Irene walked in. Nice job today, Max. Everything looks great. You're even giving the kittens a bath. Wow. Irene looked over at Coco and Bibi. They had strange grins on their face. Scrub, not chop, said Coco. Scrub, not peel, said Bibi. What's with them? Asked Irene. And what's with the potatoes and the cat food? I think I know, said Max. Spring fever. Oh, that was a great book. It was called Happy Go Ducky. Well, thanks for joining us today. We're going to have a great week, and we're studying our virtual science fair all week. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day. Goodbye.